Hola Madridistas, welcome back to another episode of the Let's Be Real podcast. I'm joined today by Jacob. We're tackling an important game today. It will be a small and quick episode, but it's an important, big game over the week. But before we get into all that, how are you today, Jacob? You good?
Not exactly good, feeling a little bit under the weather, but feeling confident
I
because the team is on a really good run. So
Fair enough. That's actually a good point. Yeah, I can. I think I can hear the weather outside. Or you mentioned that it's raining.
it's
Yeah,
raining, and dogs are howling. So a lot of
yeah,
things going on.
it adds to the tension of the game building up over the week. Fair enough, lad. Fair enough. So for today's episode, we'll go through a preview for a game coming up against RB Leipzig. We'll look at RB Leipzig first, and then we'll talk about our team. We'll talk about how our team might line up, the issues that we're facing, the biggest questions that we have to answer, and we'll also end with our predictions, as always. And we'll also give you some small pointers along the way. What do you think, Jacob? Is that a good
Yeah,
overall
sounds like a
structure?
plan. Yeah, looks like you have this all planned out. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, when it's me hosting, it's different, different gravy. Talking about different gravy, RB Leipzig just dispatched Dortmund 3-0 over the weekend in one of the most watched games recently from RB Leipzig, and the Dortmund fans are upset, and with good reason. The new coach for RB Leipzig is none other than Marco Rose, the ex Dortmund manager. But Marco Rose has always been a figure of much debate, especially in Germany, because he was a manager at Mönchengladbach. They were having an incredible season. In between, he left to go to Dortmund, where he's been sacked after one season. Now he's at RB Leipzig, and it's weird, but I mean, Marco Rose jumping teams. Okay, maybe that part isn't weird, but RB Leipzig look to be finally cooking yeah, under Marco Rose. What do you have to what do you think, Jacob, about everything?
yeah. From the Dortmund game, like I did take a look at some of the highlights. But I am still skeptical. Like Dortmund are would I would say Dortmund are one of the most easiest teams to really steamroll if you are really on your game for that particular day. But they
Ooh,
can
the fans are
also really
triggered.
yeah. So I would say like it's still too early to say, but it looks like they're on an upward trajectory, and we should be more careful.
Yeah, we can't be as laid back as we would have been, um, especially under Tedesco. Under Tedesco, RB Leipzig had a 4-0 loss against Eintracht Frankfurt, who we dispatched beginning of this season or end of last season, depending on how you want to look at it. And Shakhtar Donetsk had a 4-1 game against RB Leipzig. To add insult to injury, let's say RB Leipzig are 10th in the Bundesliga, which is, let's just say, it's not what Red Bull pay them for anyway.
Yeah, a lot of money coming in.
Yeah, and nothing happening, which is something that Bundesliga has been slewing RB Leipzig for. But yeah, I think that part, I mean, I was okay. I was very confident all the way until the Marco Rose appointment and the 3-0 game against Dortmund. Maybe Dortmund were uncharacteristically bad, but it just makes me want to be a little bit more, maybe check my confidence at the door. Yeah, cautious against approaching this game. We're also seeing some familiar faces from last season facing RB Leipzig.
Oh
Anything
yeah,
to add there?
you're talking about Timo Werner.
Yeah. Timo Werner went back
Wait,
to.
did he actually score against us with Chelsea, or was it rolled out? Feel like
Did
he came
he?
close on a lot of occasions, a lot of goal line clearances from us.
I think it was a goal line clearance. Honestly, at this point, I don't remember. I stopped paying attention to Timo Werner for good or for bad. I don't know. We also see some phenomenal talents on the pitch. Christopher Nkunku has been the talk of Bundesliga for some time now, and Emil Forsberg, they're number 10. They're all good players, but they seem to be having an off season, or it might just be that they seem to be having a debatable start to their season. The team hasn't been coming together quite well. I don't know. Maybe I expect us to steamroll them, but then again, that's just me. I'm always confident, and it comes back to bite me in the ass. People listening would know.
Yeah, we should actually hold us accountable to our predictions, so we know who's the worst at predicting stuff.
Oh no, yeah, that is probably me. I mean, I still expect us to win every game. It's just a part of who I am at this point.
No, but you mentioned all these players
Mhm.
and them having an off season. Like, do you see any sort of improvements from individual players with regards to changes that Marco Rose made in the mid season?
I should think so because Marco Rose has a history of playing. I mean, his preferred formation is the diamond, so 4-4-2, with a lot of attacking football, a lot of active, high-paced football with the ball always moving forward, or them trying to always keep the ball forward, which will definitely benefit players like Nkunku and Werner because they can always be on the front foot, giving us attacking threats, which reminds me of another team that we recently dispatched. Jacob, what team do you think that is, and what do you think of our performance
Oh, yeah,
then?
someone who always attacks and keeps attacking. Celtic,
Yeah,
of course. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. So we had Celtic, and we had a good game against Celtic, even though we were on the back foot for a little while. In the beginning, let's say half for the first half.
30 minutes. Yep.
Yeah, 30 minutes, and then we I guess we just appeared to show our quality um, after the first half. I don't know. Do you expect to see the same, or do you think it will be a little bit different with RB Leipzig, or with how the
I
teams might line up?
I'm actually predicting a really similar game because just judging from our first half performances, we have become a second half team. We need a goal or two to wake us up, or at least them steamrolling us, like steamrolling. Like even if they don't score, it takes a few efforts against our goal. Courtois getting worked up in order for us
Mm.
to wake up for the second half at least. So I just hope like they don't get any easy chances, and
Mm.
yeah, except I'm expecting a really similar game, the one against Celtic.
I guess it's just we're sitting back inviting a lot of pressure, which works against teams like Celtic, who eventually run out of steam. I don't know what it will turn out to be against Leipzig, but do you see that there's a problem there that we aren't on our? I mean, this is not the team from Mourinho who can outscore literally any opponent. I still don't think that we're capable of going to that extent yet. What do you think? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it just a mix of both?
I'm gonna ask you like a follow-up question. Like, I agree. Like, we're definitely not gonna outscore our opponents like with a Mourinho-esque attack.
Yeah,
But like again, like with Zidane's last season with us, we just shut up shop after scoring a goal. Like this team is not capable of that too. So
yeah.
where are we at actually?
I think we're at that point where we just it used to be cross and inshallah for us. Right now it's just mental fortitude. Like whatever happens, the game's not over until it's over. I think we're at that point where we're prepared to do whatever. It might be I don't know. We can look at the whole UCL campaign last season. It could just be that we'll play somewhat like in the final against Liverpool, or it might also be that we'll just power through, similar to the game against City. Um,
Okay. No, but in order to do that, you think we have like a really like way stronger midfield than them? Because they do play a diamond, which means they crowd the center of the park too and keep up the pressure. So,
yeah,
do you think we have the midfield to do the task today?
that's an interesting question. It might just come down to a battle in the midfield, a battle of possession, a battle of pinging passes across. So short passes that because they have four players, they can afford to do more and keep us on the back foot, keep us always guessing where the next ball would be. But the quality of our midfield, I'm not prepared to back off of defending the quality of the midfield. We've been shown time and time again, and Sunaid would agree with me. Tony Cruz is having a absolute, I don't know, his best season, perhaps his best start to the season yet. Tony Cruz is cooking. Luka Modric getting multiple standing ovations so far. And I don't know, Valverde perhaps having he's creating his highlight reel at this point. He's doing so much incredible stuff. It's crazy. And who else would you prefer? I mean, I know we're missing Casemiro, but do you think that position has now been more or less taken up by Chomini, or do you think we're still lacking somewhat there?
Yeah, like I would expect him to start these bigger games. We can't just afford to have Tony Cruz handling the CDM role,
Yeah.
especially with a diamond where they can potentially overrun us with their CAM also being on good form. So I would expect Tuamini to help really, and I just hope we can just play out the pressure and get some passes going.
True. Yeah, I also see that we'll have some problems along the right hand side, especially considering how Carvajal was constantly under pressure throughout the last couple of games. Whenever we have opponents who are pinging passes and making those forward runs, there's always a chance to catch Carvajal out on his on his pace. At this point, we'll just call it that because he's older. He isn't what he was. Do you also think that we should start Valverde just to have a makeshift protection for
Yeah, like
Carvajal?
to just give some context, like we did have a few injuries, right? So this would be probably a good time to talk about one of them. I feel like Lucas Vasquez is not going to make it for this fixture,
True,
so we're
yeah.
not. So
That's actually a
we
very recent update. Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, so I guess we don't have a choice in who gets to play right back. I feel like Vasquez is better at dealing with more pacey players. But so Ancelotti has his hands tied. He's definitely going to start Valverde on the right side,
True,
and
yeah.
with Tchouaméni starting as well. Like we should expect a really solid team going forward.
I mean, talking about injuries, it also brings the interesting question of Militao is also injured for the game. I mean, I think at this point we expect Rudiger to start. I guess then the question is, how did Rudiger match up to your expectations in the previous game, and how do you expect him to perform? I mean, realistically, I know how you want him to perform. The question is, how do you realistically expect him to perform, which is a different question altogether.
I expect, like, just judging from previous performances, I expect him to really put in a solid shift. Just hope he just doesn't get too eager as he tends to sometimes, and leave spaces behind. And we
Yeah,
know Carvajal can't cover for him, so let's just hope
absolutely.
he's on top of his game and he gets to each and every of those balls that he goes in forward to.
Yeah, that actually, yeah, it makes sense. There has also been some criticism raised recently with Mendy. I think the subreddit called it ball watching because he was just observing the ball go in from the corner, pinged in for the first goal in our last game. The first goal that we conceded that eventually woke us up, true. But then Mendy has maybe it's just we're judging him too harshly for that. But yeah, do we have a backup or do we have sufficient cover for Mendy? Is another question that demands to be answered at this point, I guess. What are your thoughts?
Like just to touch upon Mendy's ball watching abilities, I feel like we've been really weak on our set pieces and our marking. Like I know you guys touched upon on this like a lot on the previous podcast, but it could have been any one of our defenders. Like all of them, I'm like pretty sure would have been ball watching in those situations.
True. Yeah.
Um, so I wouldn't like to single out Mendy, and but still, like just talking about his replacements. I feel like Nacho can sub in and put in a solid shift. If we are really looking to shut up shop, Nacho is the player to go.
That actually makes a lot of sense, especially have we seen enough of Nacho this season? I don't feel like we've seen enough of Nacho. I guess that means that we probably should at this point, considering all the resources that are pretty much available to us at this point. I guess.
Yeah, yeah. But do you see him get any relevant minutes for this UCL game? I would think not, but let's see.
I don't think so. Yeah, same. But I think it's an interesting option to have. I mean, Nacho has always been,
Heck
that
yeah, man.
player.
We have hella depth in the back line. It's
Absolutely,
just
yeah.
our RB that's kind of wanting. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Alaba's been. I don't know. We don't mention Alaba just because he's been amazing. Um, then again, Rudiger did score a goal over the weekend game. Um, I mean, it. I guess that raises his confidence, but I just hope that it doesn't raise his confidence that much that he makes the weird runs that he does sprinting down the middle of the field. That is always a headache. I don't think we're sufficiently, we can cover that sufficiently. But
The only
then,
person who would warrant those kind of runs would be Sergio Ramos. But
yeah, I trust Ramos. Yeah, at this point, I don't trust the rest of our backline yet, and I'm hoping they prove me wrong. But then we've talked about the backline, and I don't think we need to talk about Courtois because man's been on fire still. Unfortunately, couldn't keep clean sheets recently, but then it's
not even recent. Like I don't think we kept a clean sheet this season.
oh
Even in
god, that's
preseason.
bad.
Yeah, it's always one
Uh,
goal, so at least that's a good sign.
that's just sad, though. Like it's usually such an amazing shot that he can't do anything about it. We've seen him make absolutely amazing saves throughout games, like all the time and all the time throughout completely. I'm talking 90, I don't know, 89 minutes and 30 seconds just making absolute world class saves. And then there's some 30 seconds where there's something or the other glitching in our backline or some amazing play, individual brilliance. And then it takes just those not even 30 seconds, maybe 10 seconds to concede a goal, which is pretty sad considering that Courtois has been on the form of his life. The I guess the ability to completely lock it down and keep clean sheets is missing at this point. But then that brings me to the next part of it. I mean, we've been outscoring teams convincingly. Um, all the score lines have looked pretty good, which brings me to our front line with Karim Benzema still being injured and expected to be injured for another 2 weeks approximately. And players like Vinicius uh, and Fede Valverde doing absolutely amazingly. And also we have Eden Hazard who had an amazing game, but then an off game. He's been on and off. Just yeah, it is what it is. And Rodrigo, what do you expect for our front line to, or rather, who do you expect the goals from?
Goals from it depends on who starts also, right? So let's say Valverde is like we discussed, we
On the
absolutely
right
need
side, yeah.
him to lock down the right hand side. So that just leaves us with a ST position or a center forward position that's a doubt. But just judging from the last game, if you look at Hazard's game, he was acting too much like an attacking midfielder instead of
True.
hugging closer to the opponent's penalty line, and that was causing us issues in the build-up as well. So he has all of these flicks that can unlock defenses, but I feel like Rodrigo is more than capable of leading our line and performing in that role of hugging close to the defender's back line and doing the job. So yeah,
I feel
so
for
he,
Hazard, man. Yeah, I feel for Hazard. I mean, he had a classy game, and then an off game where I guess his position wasn't what the team needed, and then Rodrigo comes on and has a screamer of a game, screamer of a goal, and Hazard's back to square one, I guess. Again, a question mark about Hazard's abilities, or it might just be that Rodrigo's too good to bench in favor of Hazard, who may or may not be amazing.
Yeah, it is a strange one because Hazard has played the centre forward role for Chelsea, especially. Was it under Mauricio Sarri, I guess?
I think so.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and then he was performing really well. He could hug close to the defending line, and he could do basically everything as a centre forward. Maybe it's just the instructions that he's been giving to help build up play and then drop back more.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah, I think it's
things are not
also
looking so
the
bad.
yeah, things are not looking up for Hazard at the moment. But then again, it's just it's a matter of minutes. Whenever Hazard gets subbed on for more time, maybe he has that spark still left in him to just flip the game on its head, just like that. It's also a question of again dropping back, depending on how frequent the attack is or how intense the attack is. You need a player who can shift forward as well as backward, which Hazard may not have the pace to anymore.
Yeah, for sure. Pace or the energy to do so.
Yeah, true. Valverde, on the other hand, has been a machine through and through. He's been everywhere, spotted all over the field. Scored an amazing goal in the last La Liga game as well, all on his own. And I feel like if it had been any other youngster in any other team in any other league, we wouldn't hear the end of it. But because it's Real Madrid, yeah, the media is what it is. Which I just think that we should talk about that because Fede Valverde deserves everything, man. He's so class, an amazing player, and I'm just excited to see what he brings to the
Yeah,
games
like
that we have.
there's no words left to describe this man. He has really switched it on since the Liverpool game or even from the last UCL campaign. So
Mhm.
he has really got his attacking capabilities down to perfection right now. So the rest of the team knows how to play with him, and we can always expect his cutbacks and crosses to be super accurate. And
True.
attackers are getting to the end of it. But then, yeah, from the previous game, like if you see, he was deployed on the basically our right side of the midfield, but he
Mhm.
was making challenges on the left back position when
Mhm.
Mendy was left wanting. So
True.
I can see him do the same for this game as well. Like if Nkunku absolutely burns Mendy and goes, like you can always
Mhm.
trust Fede Valverde to make up the difference and put a challenge in.
To clean up after everybody on the team. True. Yeah, yeah, I get that. There's also, I mean, he sprinted 70 meters approximately to score that goal. Absolutely
Hmm.
amazing. Which brings me to Vinicius, who's been cooking all season. He's scored in 5 consecutive games, um, which is an interesting stat to consider. And adding to that stat, it will be our eighth straight win in all competitions this season. If we manage to, I mean, I guess not if, when we manage to win at RB Leipzig. I hope I'm not jinxing this.
Don't jinx it,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ. Yeah, I'm talking too much. But yeah, I'm the host today and it's a two-person panel, so I'll say what I want. If the listeners, if the viewers disagree with me, yeah, you could just reach out to me on Instagram to
Oh,
raise your
calling for
concerns.
calling for toxic DMs, okay?
I am, yeah. At this point, I'll take it. Yeah.
No, but
Um,
yeah, to your concerns about Vinny has been like really cooking. He has taken up the mantle that Benzema, even when he was fit, he was kind of having an off season by underperforming his XG. I mean, his build up play and other general positioning was like pretty spot on to start the season with, but he was underperforming his XG, and then Vinicius really has been picking up the slack that Benzema has been doing, and then so I expect the same to continue. Like you wouldn't bet on this man not scoring for the next game.
Absolutely. If I was a bookie, I'd say everything in on Vinicius getting at the end of all the crosses coming in. Even with Benzema, I guess his injury was not something that was brought on all of a sudden. I think this season he's been worked way too much, and maybe the injury has been building over time. And we just saw that in the previous UCL game. But then once he's back, we won't have that target man problem anymore. Hopefully that happens soon. I mean, I breathe easier knowing that Karim Benzema's there. Uh,
Yeah, Man, your whole tone of your voice changed while talking about Benzema. We could like feel your sadness.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really sad, man. Yeah, I'm concerned because Benzema should be having a world class season. Should be because also, well, the World Cup, as we keep mentioning, is on its way. Even if France
Absolutely.
have the champions curse, Benzema, I just hope that Benzema has a really, really good season to cap off everything that he's been consistently performing. But yeah, I guess this injury gives him some rest at least.
Yeah, like, it could be a blessing in disguise. Like if you look at it one way, like early on in the season, we don't really need him to dispatch teams of this
Hmm.
caliber. So maybe a good rest is what he needs.
Absolutely. Let's hope that is the case, and let's hope he comes back rejuvenated. I don't know what else was there to talk about. I guess we did talk about.
So, like, no, like, touched upon their midfield, how Leipzig attack, but how do you see their forward line performing against our back line? Specifically, do you see any sort of battles on the pitch happening?
It would be interesting. I think most of their threats, even though it's a 4-4-2, it comes in the center line, cutting in from both sides, using their two midfielders on the outside as well as their forwards on the inside. So then the CBs for us will be tested very much. But I guess they will also adapt because it's Marco Rose. They will adapt it to maybe perhaps target our right back, Danny Carvajal, who we have concerns about. It's also there will be a lot of defensive cleanup to be done. So Alaba and Rudiger will both be having a really, or at least I expect them to be having a really tight, really busy game. It's a question of if we can keep the ball in the midfield, if we can keep it and move forward with it, just
Right.
enough to test and consistently beat out their even their offside traps, even their highlight pressing.
Right.
Um,
No,
yeah.
we've seen this with when we played the diamond as well, right, with Isco.
Mhm.
So we have to expect our fullbacks to push up really high, provide those width, provide that width, and put those crosses in. Do you feel like the Leipzig backline are going to go for that? But they're definitely going to be wary of Vinicius also, right? So how do you see that dynamic playing out?
I guess it's one of the factors that we're missing out with Benzema not being there is that he's always, even when he's not getting out at the end of the crosses, he's a presence on the field who draws away the defenders from him, allowing Vinicius to run into those spaces that they leave unmarked. Vinicius is now, especially with the form that he's on, he's much more of a beacon to attack. To the defenders, constantly looking to at least mow him down, invite the fouls as well, take advantage. I mean, just to stop the flow of our play, which is uh, which is a big concern for us. If not from Vinicius, I expect Rodrigo to actually do something about challenging their backline. And then again, I'm just really glad that Luka Modric is there to yeah to do Modric things basically. Yeah.
Yep.
Do you have any disagreements with that? I guess probably
No,
not.
I feel like so they might attack more from their left hand side just because they have to drop back for Vinicius.
Hmm.
So, but that could be like problematic for them as well. Like we can hurt them with Valverde as well, or even Rodrigo if he starts. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I feel like this is a really good game to get ramp up a good scoreline and then steamroll them. We just have to be a bit careful. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I guess we will see a consistent Carlo lineup for this as well, just to predict how we might go into this. We might not need that. We might not see Dennis Ceballos starting. Even with this game over the weekend, he's been really good. He got a free assist with that Valverde goal as well. He's been
Was
solid
that an assist?
though.
Okay.
It counts officially as an assist, so I'll give it to him. He just picked a short cross and Valverde just ran with it. Again, maybe we might see Dani Ceballos starting, although I think it's unlikely. given the fact that it's a UCL campaign and what is expected from Real Madrid. But yeah, how do you see the team lining up, or what do you think could be a big change from the usual Carlo lineup that we see? We've been seeing some rotation this season, to be fair.
Yeah, we have seen rotations, but not for games of this magnitude yet.
Hmm.
But you can never rate this version of Carlo. Like he always can surprise you. But my general feeling is for this game there won't be any surprises. We might start Hazard. That's the initial feeling that I get, and bring on Rodrigo to really damage them against more tired legs. Because yeah, you can expect them to put in a lot of pressure on the early periods of the game.
Hmm.
So yeah, bringing on Rodrigo like looks to be a good option to go to.
True. What do you think is the involvement that Carlo has in mind for Hazard in this game? I mean, we've been talking about Hazard since 2 weeks now. Do you see Hazard uh, getting back to his roots, let's say, in this game, or what do you expect from Hazard, or is he still bench warming at best?
No, so I would say this is one of the games where Hazard can really show what he's worth because
Hmm.
Leipzig do play a really open, expansive game, and he could drop in between the lines of that diamond and then give us another body in midfield to play those short passes in and release Vinny on the counter. So yeah,
Or
like
maybe to do some creative, or maybe you act as a creative outlet whenever Modric is dropping in deep to help out with the defense, to help out with the build of play. If Hazard is
which
there,
is
maybe
all the
he
time.
acts. Absolutely, which is all the time whenever it's a really attacking team. That's true. Maybe Hazard can act as a creative outlet for Vinny and Rodrigo, both on the wings.
Yeah, one can hope. That's all I can say. One can hope.
That's true. That's true. I guess then we come to our predictions for the game.
So
Go ahead,
no, you
Jacob.
go first.
Take
No,
the
you
mic.
go first.
I mean, I'm always confident. So I've also seen, I've also done some research behind it. So I've seen some websites basically predict a 2-1 or a 3-1 for us. I mean, us winning Real Madrid 3, RB Leipzig 1. But this time I want to see the team keep a clean sheet if possible, which I don't think is likely because of all the attacks that we are going to face. Optimistically, I'm going to say 3-0, Real Madrid winning, uh, because I feel that RB Leipzig is not there yet. They haven't faced a team of our caliber yet this season, and when they have, they've crumbled. So yeah, 3-0 is my prediction. And Jacob, take it away, man.
Like before I give my prediction, I can see why like you get a lot of your predictions wrong. You're basically contradicting yourself, man. You talk a lot about our difficulty in clean sheets, but still like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
3-0 is probably a really optimistic one prediction to go to. But yeah, fair enough. I can totally see that happening too, like with Courtois having an amazing game
Mm-hmm.
and us pressuring and then dominating the match. So anything could happen, but I'm gonna go with a more safer bet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say 3-1 to us. With definitely Vinny is gonna score.
Yeah.
Rodrigo's gonna score, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't see where else the goals are gonna come from. But
Maybe
yeah, we're
Rudiger
definitely gonna
scores
win this
again.
match. Yeah, we're
Maybe
definitely gonna
Rudiger
win this.
scores again. Yeah.
Maybe.
All right, Jacob. So it's I say 3-0, you say 3-1. So I guess we both see 3 goals from us happening. Vinicius, maybe he's on his sixth consecutive game of the season scoring. Rodrigo pulling it out of the hat again, continuing his amazing form. And one coming in from set pieces or counter attacks. I guess that is our common consensus. Yeah, I can see that.
So
Yeah.
none of us are gonna like bet on Hazard scoring. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we've had people in the chat previously. Cristiano FSX HD has been consistently saying that Hazard will score in the UCL campaign. Props to him if Hazard scores. Yeah, I think I'll have a private bet going on with him though. I don't see Hazard scoring, but as you said, one can hope. Thank you so much, Jacob. I guess we'll end it there. Shout out as always to Real Madrid committee, our partners on Instagram. Feel free to check them out. Their link will be in the description. If you disagree with us or if you agree with us, and if you think I'm too optimistic, just let me know directly by clicking on the link in the description. You can find our Twitter there, you can find our Instagram there. And if my predictions turn out to be right, yeah, also let me know. And as usual, guys, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Share the videos if you like them, pretty much. Yeah. Anything to add before we go, Jacob?
No, I think you covered it all. Like, looking forward to a good matchup.
Cheers, man. Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.